Yeah, man. And it's going down right now. And we are here for the second half of this show. We are coming down the stretch right now. And the Steelers are failing down the stretch right now. And it's only fitting that we just keep this conversation and the flow of this show going. Because right now, okay, I am telling you right now, Mike Tomlin is not real. I don't know, bro. Anyway, salute to Mike Tomlin though. With all due respect, salute to my brother. Okay. And we're gonna talk about him right now. Should the Steelers part ways or fire Mike Tomlin after the Steelers' late season meltdown? So basically, Zay, translation, not today. Okay, I don't mean today. I don't mean tomorrow. But after this season, if they are under 500, if they don't make the playoffs, should Mike Tomlin get fired?
I think, and I keep saying this. I said this off air. I say it on air, and I'm gonna repeat it because I feel like it makes more sense now more than ever that if the Steelers feel, and I'm not talking about the GMs, I'm talking about the fans, the owner. If the owner feels that the team is stagnant, they're not getting where they want to get to in terms of top picks or anything of that nature, playoffs, Super Bowl, whatever, right? If he feels that Mike Tomlin is the brunt of all of this, you should let him go. But not only let him go, bring in whoever you think it is, whatever in case it is, because we're going to see the true meltdown of the Steelers. This is not the rock bottom for the Steelers. This is not. And I don't think Mike Tomlin should take accountability of this mayhem that's happening within Pittsburgh because, like I said, the offensive line has not been good. The offensive line hasn't been good for a very long time. They had mediocre quarterback play for almost a decade. And then they bring in a quarterback who would technically there was no other quarterbacks left to pick. They picked Kenny Pickett. And they're a team who Tomlin coaches so well, even when the roster's not that good, to winning seasons, so they can't get a top pick in quarterback play or whatever. So if they feel like they need a tank or they feel like they need another direction, then you should let go of Mike Tomlin. I'm not against letting go of Mike Tomlin, but not because he's the issue. It's because this roster can't get any better if they continue going 9-8 every season. There's no way you become a better team if every year you're not getting a top draft pick, you're not getting within a top 10 pick, you're not getting a top 15 pick, because every year you're going to the playoffs or you're going to a winning season. So if you feel like in order to reset this team, you need to let go of Mike Tomlin, then do it. I feel like it only makes sense that if the team continues to just be, as we state, mediocre, or as you state, mediocre, right? A middle-of-the-pack team, a team that's not great, a team that's not terrible, but they can't get beyond middle, and every time you get a draft pick, it's 15, 16, then you should let them go so that whether the team gets better or worse, you can at least get some type of roster reconfiguration here, because the roster isn't going to get better at all if it continues this level of play. Better or worse, it's not going to get better. You're not getting free agents. You're not getting the draft picks you want. So whatever it is, absolutely, I 100% agree. They should part ways if the meltdown continues or if they just continue to stay middle of the pack. Because the Steelers are not getting top 10 picks. I don't remember the last time they had a top 10 pick. And like I said, I don't blame Mike Tomlin for that. But at the same time, if you feel like he's the reason why you're still middle of the pack, let him go.
Yeah. I hope everybody's having a good time today, man. I hope everybody is, locked and loaded, watching the show. Subscribe to the channel. Hello, how you doing? Okay, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? Listen, that's the only Spanish I know, bro. With all due respect, buenos dias, ¿cómo estás? Y usted, that's it, bro. I don't know that much Spanish. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yeah, to answer the question, duh. What you think I'm gonna say? Yeah, they should fire him, part ways with Mike Tomlin. I think parting ways. Actually, I think trading Mike Tomlin. Excuse me. I think they should trade Mike Tomlin because it's gonna be one of these, fools of an organization that's gonna give you a first rounder or second rounder for Mike Tomlin. Take it. Why not? Why fire the guy and get nothing for the most popular coach in the NFL that everybody loves, that everybody makes excuses for? Why cut that guy and get nothing when you could get a first round pick from the Panthers? Okay, that don't know what they're doing. Okay. And I think it's honestly beneficial to Mike Tomlin to want to leave too. I think this is a mutual beneficial thing right here, right? Because if Mike Tomlin could go to LA and team up with Justin Herbert and have a quarterback that he could just sit back, digging in the scene with the gangster lean in the driver's seat, you take me there. Okay, yeah, I'm here for the ride, brother. All I gotta do is say a motivational speech in the locker room. Can you dig it? And we gonna go out here and play. Yeah, it's beneficial to Mike Tomlin. But if the Panthers throw a first rounder, I mean, hey, I mean, you really want him to save Bryce Young because Bryce Young, his development rookie year, it's not it, bro. Do you really want that guy, coaching that guy? No, I don't think you want to do that. But the Panthers may be dumb enough to do that. Okay. So guess what, Steelers? Take the first round pick and trade Mike Tomlin. What you should have did was when you had Brian Flores, shout out to my dude from Brooklyn, Brownsville. Okay. You should have kept him and you should have probably traded Mike Tomlin and elevated him to head coach, but they didn't want to do that, right? Because the Steelers have had only 3 coaches in the last 50 years, bro. In the last 50 years, only 3 coaches. So what they prioritize is stability, but they need to replace stability with adaptability, okay, and adapt to modern times because Mike Tomlin is coaching out of that 1999 playbook. And you know the name of this show. Okay, so yeah, we need to adapt. Okay, we need to get on our John Harbaugh flow. Okay, and adapt to modern times. And I think they need to do that because trust and believe. It's not only about wins and losses, right? I don't really want to go black and white on y'all right now, right? Because black and white annoys the hell out of me too. But sometimes we need the black and white. But I'm gonna put the black and white aside. Let's talk about coaching, okay? Because a lot of people gonna make excuses. Trust me, I'll be debating cats on this subject all the time. Okay, so I'm used to it. I actually get better and better at this. So Zay is catching me in my prime. I'm getting better and better with practice, brother. Okay, because when you talk about Mike Tomlin, right, and his coaching, okay, when you talk about rookie head coaches in the league, he's 0-4 the last couple of years. Okay, the last 2 seasons, 0-4. Okay, against rookie head coaches. We are talking losses to Jonathan Gannon this year. Okay, we talking about losses to D'Amico Ryans this year. We are talking about losses to Mike McDaniel last year. Okay, we are talking about losses to Brandon Staley and the Chargers in 2021. We are talking a loss in a wild card to a guy named Mike Pfizer. I'm just calling him Pfizer. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the vaccine guy, Mike Pfizer, who was a substitute for Kevin Stefanski because he was out sick due to COVID. And he lost to that guy and got out coached by that guy in the wild card, in the playoffs. Okay, not to mention last week to Shane Steichen. Okay, he got out coach and they lost that game 30-13. 30-13. Really? Okay, and then it's the third quarter. Let's talk about game management, right? Because it's not about wins and losses. I'm not that black and white. Now I'm black, but I'm not white. But let's talk about getting. Hey, I'm in my flow. Okay, don't turn off this show. I'm in my flow right now, so you know. Okay, let's talk about situational football because when we talk about coaching, right? Yeah, you don't have to be the greatest coach in the X's and O's department, right? You could talk a good game, you could be a leader, right? But situational football, to me, I value that. That matters. And when you talk about them trailing the Colts in the third quarter, all right, with an opportunity to kick a 57-yard field goal to trim the lead, that was 11 at the time, he decides to punt. Huh? You're punting? Okay. And then they lost the game. They got blown out the gym. They never had a shot because Mike Tomlin never gave them a shot to win the daggone game. And when you talk about 2 weeks ago against New England, Bill Belichick, he's on a hot seat. He may lose his job. Okay. He got to go. He don't adapt to 1999. Right. But guess what? Okay. With an opportunity, okay, to try to trim the lead and win the game, 4th and inches in the fourth quarter, you burn a timeout on 4th and inches because you was undecided, like Chris Brown, undecided. I can't sing. That's never my talent. But my talent is getting on the mic and preaching. Okay? You decided to burn a timeout because you was undecided on going for it on 4th and inches, and then you ended up going for it on 4th and inches anyway, and then you get the ball, all right, with a chance to win the game, but guess what? You got no timeouts. Situational football. So when I go on people's podcasts, when I come on my podcast and people want to say, I don't know what I'm talking about, Mike Tomlin is not overrated, I'm just hating, I just gave you the facts. Okay? Take that for data.
Yeah. All that makes a great sense. But the end result is, are you winning or are you losing football games? Mike Tomlin has won for 20 years. And
Yeah,
that's
and
just what
he's
it is.
losing
He's in the winning
right
streak.
now.
They're losing right now, that's for sure. But he's been winning for 20 years. A loss is bound to happen. When you have 20 winning seasons in a row, a loss is bound to happen. Remember when Greg Pop was winning all those games in San Antonio? He losing that. Well, when you win for 20 years, a loss is bound to happen. It's bound to happen. But when we talk about roster configuration, we're talking about what the GM is doing. We're talking about things, a lot of different things of that nature. You and Zach are both preached that Mike Tomlin has a hand on the draft picks, right? He has a hand on who gets drafted, who gets not. That's an indication that the GM don't know what the hell you're doing. If the head coach got to tell you what to do, you don't know how to configure a coach. The coach wants to coach the players on the field. He's not supposed to be out here scouting players and drafting guys left and right. That's the indication that the GM doesn't know what he's doing. So, like I said, if you want to put all the blame on Mike Tomlin, that's fine with me. That's fine. Let him go and then watch what happens when the Steelers play. They'll sink, just like how we're watching the Giants sink. They will sink and continue to sink. When Tom Coughlin left the Giants, they stunk. They sunk for years. Dysfunction all throughout the GM. But Tom Coughlin was the glue that held it together. Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, is the glue that's keeping the Steelers together. Because once he leaves, and once you stated, they only had 3 coaches for 50 years. Once he leaves, we're going to see everything break down in Pittsburgh. There's going to be no Pittsburgh for like 5-6 years in terms of winning seasons. Nothing. There's going to be a lottery pick team for 5 to 6 years post Mike Tomlin. Because Mike Tomlin is the glue that keeps it all together. They giving him nothing but filth to work with on offense. And clearly, he has to keep it together in some facet. The defense has to play outstanding football. This is one of the better defenses we've seen Pittsburgh have in quite some time. And they have to be playing with a terrible offense like that. And we don't give credit to Mike Tomlin for defense, of course, because why not? Why would we give him credit for the defense playing so well? He's only like, it would have made sense to give him credit for that. But we have to look at this offense and say, oh, Mike Tomlin's doing this, Mike Tomlin's doing that. And I completely agree. The offense is terrible. Understand, let him go. You bring in somebody else and watch how bad this team really gets. Watch how awful this team gets post Mike Tomlin. And that's all I want to see. Let him go and watch Mike Tomlin go somewhere else. He'll probably do something else. He'll probably get wins somewhere else. That's fine. Or losses somewhere else. We don't know. But I know for sure once they let go of Mike Tomlin and bring in whoever they want to bring in, it's going to be nothing but dysfunction, nothing but players not liking the locker room, nothing but all this other stuff that just leak out. Because one thing we can never say about Mike Tomlin is that he is not a leader in the locker room because he keeps that locker room intact for sure. And that's my
Right. The same locker room that had Antonio Brown, okay, being a diva, okay, going out of control. The same locker room that had Juju doing TikToks in the middle of the daggone logo, okay, and nobody talking about it. The same locker room that had Chase Claypool, okay, not Pool, Fool, Chase Fool, who had a conversion. He had a catch on like 4th and 1, and then the clock is ticking, no timeouts, and he goes out and he holds the ball, showboating instead of getting the ball to the referee to clock the ball, right? The same locker room that George Pickens is zoned out. Listen, folks, George Pickens is not here. They clone Pickens, okay? They clone Tyrone, they clone Pickens. He is not here, okay? I am telling you right now, that guy is not real. George Pickens is not here, bro. He's gone. He's checked out. He checked out 5 weeks ago, bro. Okay, the same locker room, okay, where Micah Fitzpatrick, I don't know what's going on in the Steelers locker room, okay? Yeah, the same locker room that Kenny Pickett last year said, and I quote, the study habits here got to change. The same locker room, okay, that Najee Harris don't have an answer for. The same locker room in which we get to Mike Tomlin, and he always has something fly to say after they lose a game, right? He could get blown out the daggone field, and he said something fly. That's not our standard. Can you dig it? But last week, he had no answers, bro. I ain't had no fly line. He was a ghost. He didn't know what to say. He ran out of lines, okay? So we need to cut it out. Cut the excuses out, okay? My guy, under his tutelage, the Steelers are declining right now. Okay, because let's not forget that when Tomlin took over this team in 2000, I think it was 7, one of those years, right? I could be wrong. I think it was 2007. He took over this team the year prior or the year before that. They won a Super Bowl. So he inherited a championship level squad. And now that some of those pieces and foundations of those, championship teams is retiring, like Big Ben and all those guys that left, he has to do something on his own. He has to build from scratch. And guess what? He's not it. So that's one side. Then we talk about situational football in the 1999 playbook. You're not going to win games playing games on all Madden. Why are you making the game so hard? Why everybody's making it easy? Okay, think about all these rookie head coaches out coaching this cat. The Shane Steichen's of the world. He making it look easy. Kevin Stefanski making it look easy. Sean McVay, easy. Okay, Kyle Shanahan, Jimmy G, Bob Purdy, Sam Darnold, whoever, Trey Lance, whatever. Man, let's exclude Trey Lance. He's a bust. But all those guys, easy. But he making it look hard. Football, yes, it's hard, but it's not hard. Okay, it's not 1999 anymore. I don't know how else to put it. I'm just leave it like that.
Listen, I'll say this last point, right? Again, Mike Tomlin offenses have not been good since Big Ben, AB, and Le'Veon Bell left. Like, that's just the case. They haven't been good. Cool. Move on. Bring in the next guy, and we'll see what Pittsburgh is. That's the only way you'll figure out what's the answer, what's not. Because clearly, once Tomlin goes, now you have to figure out what the hell you're going to do with this roster. Because this roster's not winning. There's no way in the world, in any world, that any coach is going to fix the way this offense plays. The offense is not good. They don't have talent. And it is. Najee Harris is not who we thought he was coming out of college. Jalen Warren is like, he's cool. He's a nice running back, but he's not all that. He's not a 1,000-yard rusher. He's probably not even a 900-yard rusher. Deontay Johnson, as solid as he is, he's not a wide receiver one in his league. It's the truth. George Pickens, as talented as he is a receiver, he's not clocked in, as you stated. He has an ego issue. So this whole offense, and then the quarterback situation, Kenny Pickett, if he's not it, who is it? We have to figure out who the quarterback going to be. And then the offensive line is terrible. They just drafted Darnell Wright. He's been terrible, and he's their first-round pick. So, I mean, for me, this entire team, when we talk about
for your misinformation, brother, Darnell Wright is on the daggone Bears, brother. Okay, so we can leave that.
Who's the offensive line that they drafted this year? They drafted.
I forgot who it is, but it's not no daggone Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright is on the daggone Bears right now,
and he's not good. All right, so my bad. Darnell Wright, apologies. He's on the Bears.
Maybe Darnell wrong. Okay, but not Darnell Wright. Okay, Darnell wrong.
Their offensive line is terrible. Their offensive line is terrible. So they gotta be. Whatever coach is gonna bring in, he has to inherit a bad offense, and he has to fix it. And it's not gonna be a good turnaround because they don't get draft picks early in the top picks, lottery picks. They don't get free agents for offense at all. So now you have to figure out what coach is going to come in here and know that their offense is bad and they can't fix it to try to come in here and what, just lose? So who's going to be in their right mind to do that?
Yeah, and guess what? He's not a top 10 coach. All that is evidence.
No, he's definitely
right. He's not a top 10 coach in the league. Okay. And I'm going to just leave it there. You know, you're going to go on that excuses rant all you want to, right? The local media can go and make all the excuses, the national media, because the local media is keeping it real. The national media always got excuses for this guy, but I'm tired of it. We're going to put an end to that very soon on the show. Matter of fact, I did so here. Okay. I'm going to continue to do so because, listen, it's time for the Steelers and Mike Tomlin to break up. And I'm going to just leave that there in closing.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.